Okay, so thank you all for joining us for our military support Cause Week Convo. We have several wonderful military organizations joining us today. My name's Antonia Gonzalez, and I'm the National Director of Events for the McGuire Outreach Coordinator Services. And I'm joined by Marty Lawrence, who is another one of our colleagues here in the North Texas Combined Federal Campaign. And we'll be joined by several wonderful organizations who are going to be speaking about what they do in our communities and the work that they're able to complete by the CFC donations that they're receiving. So thank you all for joining us. This meeting event is being recorded and it will be available on our YouTube channel as well. So just FYI, you will be out there for anybody to view at any given point at their convenience. So let's go ahead and get started. Our first speaker today is Miss Marissa Pittman with Patriot Paws Service Dogs, and her CFC code is 35710.
Okay, thank you so much. So here at Patriot Paws Service Dogs, we train and provide service dogs of the highest quality at no cost to disabled veterans with mobile disabilities in order to help restore their physical and emotional independence. So our main facility here, our training center, is in Dallas, Texas area. And we also have a training program down at Texas A&M. It's our Aggie Land program. And we have about 75 students there who donate their time and take dogs to classes with them on their grocery runs and all sorts of stuff to help train our dogs, socialize them. And then we also have a prison program with this TDCJ, and the inmates there, we train them to train our dogs as well. Now, while they're not paid, it is their job to fully train these dogs. They live with the dogs 24/7. And then we also have our Dallas, Texas, or Dallas Fort Worth area puppy raisers who we have a handful of them who help train our dogs as well. Same thing kind of at A&M. They help socialize and get our dogs ready to go to their veterans. Now it does take about 2 years to fully train a service dog, and they rotate through all of those areas while they're getting their training. To date, since 2006, we've placed about 230 dogs in over 37 states to any veteran who may need them.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marissa. Appreciate that. And again, if any federal employees have any questions as we're going through, please don't hesitate to put those in the chat, and any of our charities will respond to you there. And what Marty is showing you here on the screen is our actual charity search. And this is the function for you all to be able to search for the organizations that belong to the Combined Federal Campaign. There are many different filters that you can choose, but we're providing you with the name of the organizations as well as the CFC code. And if you enter that in, then you're able to learn a bit more about the charity, and they actually have a website that's available there. So if you want to find any additional information, then you can click on that to get that information as well. And so let's go ahead and go on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is actually going to be Operation Job Ready Veterans out of the Indiana, Kentucky, and Southwestern Ohio zone. We have Miss Maddie Ferris, and her CFC code is 39811. Are you on with us, Maddie? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Maddie Ferris from Operation Job Ready Veterans out of Indianapolis, Indiana. We're a Midwestern-based non-for-profit organization that assists veterans, current service members, their dependents, caregivers, spouses with transition assistance, primarily employment and career assistance. All of our services are free to our clients. We offer anything from resume assistance to interview skills, to cover letters. We also have a clothing closet. We receive donations for suits and interview attire. that we provide. We also provide haircuts, just anything that can help that transition from a military lifestyle into something outside of the military. And a lot of our stuff have normally been in service, but with COVID, I just want to emphasize that that hasn't affected our organization whatsoever. We've just had to transition, which we are good at as an organization, and have moved a lot of things virtually and online like we're doing today. So we appreciate you helping our organization, and thank you for choosing the CFC campaign and attending this event today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Maddie. We appreciate that. Thank you for the work that you do with our veterans. I know that that's a difficult transition. I have many family members that have served, and that transition out of military and into,
Right.
you know, the regular, the world that we all, you know, yeah, it's a different environment altogether. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so our next speaker, we actually have Laura Newman-Howe out of the Gateway CFC Zone, Fisher House in St. Louis, and their CFC code is 42804. Welcome, Laura. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio. So the Fisher House in St. Louis provides a home away from home for military and veterans families free of charge while their family member is undergoing treatment at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in St. Louis. The Fisher House in St. Louis recently celebrated its 10th anniversary. Our house has served more than 11,750 guests and provided approximately $9 million in cost savings to those guests since it opened. The house was built adjacent to the VA Med Center at Jefferson Barracks with funding from the National Fisher House Foundation, along with funds raised by the local not-for-profit entity, the Fisher House in St. Louis. Then the house itself was given to the Department of Veterans Affairs with the agreement that the VA would manage and maintain it. Where the local organization comes in is it's able to provide things that the VA legally cannot, such as food, transportation, and overflow hotel rooms, which are particularly needed at this time due to occupancy restrictions caused by COVID-19. And we have exciting news that the Fisher House in St. Louis will be building a second house adjacent to the campus of John Cochran VA Hospital in Midtown St. Louis. This will be in conjunction with a major expansion of that VA hospital, and we expect construction for this second Fisher House to begin in 2025. There are currently 90 Fisher Houses across the country, and they all serve with the motto, because a family's love is good medicine. The Fisher House in St. Louis is CFC number 42804. The Fisher House Foundation, the national entity, is CFC number 11453. And you can find 22 other local Fisher House organizations in the combined federal campaign this year. So we thank you for considering a gift to the Fisher House in St. Louis or any of the thousands of not-for-profit organizations that have been approved to participate in the CFC this year. Your gift makes a wonderful difference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laura. I appreciate that. You know, I've been on a few of these events, and I've heard, you know, across the country, a couple of different speakers from Fisher House, and yeah, it's an amazing work that you all do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
We're going to go ahead and go on to our next speaker, which is Jeff Galt out of the Oklahoma and North Texas CFC Zone, the Army Scholarship Foundation, and their CFC code is 24394. Jeff? You are muted right now, Jeff. Thank you.
Well, good morning or good afternoon, depending upon where you are. I'm happy to represent the Army Scholarship Foundation, which since 2000, children of soldiers and spouses of active duty enlisted soldiers. Our combined federal campaign code is 24394, and we are a nationwide organization. Although we operate out of North Texas, we provide scholarships to military family members worldwide, wherever they may be serving, Korea, Germany, Japan, around the world. And over the years, we have provided hundreds and hundreds of academic scholarships to our deserving military family members who are seeking to pursue their educational dreams. And of course, the key for our mantra is that military families members serve too. They support their soldiers through thick and thin, constant moves, adapting to new school systems, new challenges, missing out on extracurricular activities, having to deal with in-state tuition issues, on and on. Military families generally have lower incomes than their civilian peers in that the spouses generally have to change jobs time after time after time and essentially start over. So this is our way of saying thank you to our military and our way of giving back to those military families who have sacrificed so much for our security and for our nation. So again, it's Army Scholarship Foundation, Combined Federal Campaign Code 24394. We would appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Appreciate you and all the work that you do. At this point, I'd like to go ahead and open it up to any questions that any of our federal employees may have for any of our speakers so far. Again, we've heard from Patriot Paws Service Dogs, Operation Job Ready Veterans, the Fisher House in St. Louis, and the Army Scholarship Foundation. If you do have any questions, you can go ahead and unmute yourself to ask those, or you can feel free to put those in the chat as well.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
I think I'm muted, so you should be okay.
Okay. I thought we had somebody with a question, but Marty, let's go ahead and take a small break to go ahead and show our campaign coordinators or any federal employees that we have on the call how they can go in and create a profile and give online. If you can just show them the. So this is. Yeah, go ahead.
You want to go ahead and I'll just follow your lead. Am I on the correct
sure.
page? Okay.
Yes. So the giving site is the cfcgiving.opm.gov. And so you'll want to go to this site in order to create an account. If you haven't created an account yet, you'll need to go in and you'll need to use a personal email address. And then a PIN code will be sent to you at that email address in order to complete your setup. So that's one key piece of information that you need to know is make sure that it's a personal email address. It's a two-step process because once you receive that PIN code via the email, then you'll go back in and complete your setup. But the next thing that you'll want to do is go to the profile settings. And here is where you'll enter in all of your information. Type of donor that you are. Marty and I are both federal contractors. All of the zone managers are federal contractors, but you all would be either a federal employee or a federal contractor. And again, this year, or the last few years at least, federal retirees have been able to give as well. So select the type of donor you are, what your first and last name is. And the other key piece of information that you need to make sure that you provide is your primary work location zip code. That zip code is what ties you back to your zone. And that's the only way that your pledge will actually be reported out in your zone to your federal agency. So make sure that you provide that information. And then the department agency office structure is how you will be found in here. So you'll enter in which department that you belong to. You want to just go ahead and select, you can go ahead and do that one, independent, executive, and quasi-official agencies. And then if you would scroll down, go ahead and look at environmental protection agency. There it is. And then select your office, just as because this is one of the offices that are here in my area. If you'll scroll up to the top, Marty. And then you can see that there's the offices that are in your zip code. Once you select the zip code, are going to be showing right there at the top. So those are the offices that are available. If you're not able to find yourself, contact your zone manager, or and they'll see if you're actually in the system. If an office needs to be added, then your campaign coordinator can request that from your zone manager. Your campaign coordinators also could have provided you with a actual 6-digit CFC code. So if you'll see right there on the right side there, Marty, right above lookup, if you've been provided a CFC office code, if you just enter that in right there and click lookup, then it will go ahead and pre-populate your department agency office for you. And that's as simple as that in order to create your account. And then all you need to do is search for charities to decide which ones you'd like to give to. And that's right there at the top, find a charity. And we'll go ahead and get back into our presentations. And let's see. Do we have any additional questions on the giving before we go back into presentations on how to create an account? If we do, feel free to unmute yourself, or you can always ask the questions in the chat. Marty and myself are keeping up with the chat, but we do have a few of our zone managers on the call today as well. So if any of you see some questions that you might be able to answer, feel free to go ahead and jump in and answer those questions. All right, let's go ahead and go to our next speaker, who is Heroes to Heroes Foundation, a national international organization, Judy Elias, and your CFC code is 54323. Judy,
Thank you so
for
much.
joining us.
Thank you, Antonia, and thank you everyone here, everyone who spoke. The charities are amazing, and you're helping so many people, and it's great to be part of this greater organization. 20 veterans die by suicide each day, and this number has been consistent for over 10 years. We're losing the battle. And at Heroes to Heroes, our goal is to win this battle. We want our veterans to choose life. What we have found is many of our veterans come home and they're unable to forgive themselves for what they were asked to do in war. And it's something that doesn't get a lot of discussion, but we ask these young men and women to go to deploy across the world, and we ask them to do things that are abhorrent to them, that are against their moral code. They come home and often feel, how can I go on? Why do I deserve my wife, my husband, my significant other, my children? Why do I deserve these people? Why should I be alive? At Heroes to Heroes, we're helping them find that answer through a spiritual healing and peer support program that takes them to the Holy Land, to Israel. And people ask us, why Israel? Well, Israel's the birthplace of 3 major religions: Christianity, Judaism, Islam. Most of our veterans are part of any one of those religions. They identify as part of one of those organized religions. And what we do is we take them to where it all began, so they can physically connect to spiritually connect. For example, when they're traveling in the Holy Land, we take them to be baptized in the Jordan River. Our Christian veterans find this a way to cleanse, reconnect, and find that connection and realize that they're of value. Our program is so strong, it's being studied by a team at the University of South Alabama. And one thing they ask on a survey prior to the program is, what do you think God thinks of you? 80% or more of the respondents will say, God wishes I were dead. How do you start with that? And when we started hearing those answers, we knew we had to get them reconnected and help them find the forgiveness that they're longing for. So Heroes to Heroes, Journeys to the Holy Land have taken over 300 veterans of all faiths. We've taken veterans who are atheists. We've taken veterans from all over. And I just want to thank you for caring. I know my time is up, and feel free to contact me personally. But thank you for all the support you give. This is a wonderful program, and I can't thank all of you enough for putting this together.
Thank you, Judy. That was
Yeah, I
definitely very
apologize,
powerful.
Judy. I didn't mean to have the alarm go off, dear. I apologize on that. That was very moving. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Okay, our next speaker is the Purple Heart Foundation, Miss Amelia Kaker, and CFC code is 46647. Amelia, are you on with us? There you are.
Yes. Freedom isn't free. It's paid for by the blood, sweat, and tears of the brave men and women who fight for our country. And that's why for over 60 years, the Purple Heart Foundation has been helping veterans transition from the battlefield to the home front, holistically enhancing the quality of life for all these veterans and their families. We fund grants for veterans that are in crisis. For example, Army veteran Sergeant Wagner. I spoke with him last week. We helped him last month. He is a landlord and his tenants couldn't pay their rent because of COVID-19. They lost their jobs. And so in that time of crisis for him, we were there. We bridged the gap. We gave him a veteran assistance grant to help him pay off his bills so him and his family didn't become homeless. And we fund all types of things. We also fund academic scholarships to help veterans and their family members looking to further their education. When you donate through CFC, your gift could also help combat wounded veterans be paired with service dogs to make their daily challenges a bit easier. Or you could help provide resources and recreational therapy programs to veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress. We take this holistic approach to help as many veterans as we can. And during these unprecedented times, we must take unprecedented actions. There's no better day to act to show your thanks for the veterans who fought for our freedom than around Veterans Day. So, we hope that you'll make a donation to the Purple Heart Foundation. Like she said, our number is 46647. And thank you for being here and for supporting all of these wonderful charities.
Thank you so much, Amelia. We appreciate you. I'd like to go ahead and give everybody a moment. If anybody has any additional questions that you've thought of as our speakers or explaining what their organizations do. If you have any questions on how to find charities or how to create your account or just anything, we do have some of our zone managers on as well. So if anybody has questions in any specific zone, please let us know. We are here to answer your questions. Again, this is a Cause Week conversation. We're talking about the cause, but we'd love to have you engage as well if you have any questions that have kind of been on your mind as your CFC campaign is going on. Okay. If anything comes up, please feel free to go ahead and put that in the chat and we will be sure to get to you. Let's go ahead and go to our next speaker, Operation Finally Home, CFC code 20331, Miss Molly Halliday.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thanks to all the charities on this call. It's a wonderful to know that there's so many organizations out there who are trying to help our veterans, and our veterans need your help. They need all of our help. Just to give you a little bit of background about Operation Finally Home, our mission is to provide mortgage-free homes and home modifications to wounded, ill, and injured veterans, first responders, and widows of the fallen. We bring together corporate sponsors, builders, developers, builders association, and individual contributors to help these heroes and their families by addressing one of their most pressing needs, a home to call their own. We were founded in 2005 and we're based out of New Braunfels. Today, we have almost 300 home projects completed or in planning in 33 states for deserving veterans and their families. The work of Operation Finally Home is made possible through our unique network of supporters providing monetary and in-kind gift donations. From donated building materials to labor and gifted land, local projects are driven by industry and community support. Operation Finally Home helps their builder partners with additional standard project expenses falling outside a builder's individual network of contacts. So on average, that funding gap is about $100,000 per home, which Operation Finally Home is able to provide thanks to individual donors, grants, fundraisers, especially donations like CFC. So please remember CFC number 20331 when you're working on your forms or going through this lovely handy website that we've seen work today. And if there's any Marines on the call, I'd like to say happy birthday to the Marines and for all the veterans. Thank you for your service as we prepare to celebrate you and all you have done for our country. Take care.
Thank you so much, Molly. We appreciate the work that you all do. Our next speaker is the United Way of Greater St. Louis. CFC code is 47442, and Mr. George Peck is with us.
Good afternoon, everyone. United Way of Greater St. Louis provides vital funding to a safety net of more than 160 nonprofits that help our region with needs in education, health, and financial stability. Since March, our 211 helpline has received over 90,000 plus calls. That's almost a 78% increase over last year. The top requests were housing, healthcare access, utility assistance, mental health, and support and food. Even in typical economic times, 43% of all the households in St. Louis do not have the monthly income to meet their basic needs. Instead of focusing on one cause, United Way focuses on hundreds of causes with immediate basic needs of food, shelter, and transportation. Since COVID-19 started, United Way has invested more than $1.2 million through emergency response grants into the nonprofits to help serve people throughout the St. Louis region. Your support matters, paving a way to a better tomorrow. And supporting the United Way campaign helps build a strong foundation for our region's safety net to help families, communities sustain and recover in times of crisis. Thank you all for your continued support of United Way.
Thank you so much, George. Appreciate you. And our final speaker for today is Wounded Warriors in Action Foundation. Their CFC code is 94512, and the speaker is Nicole Visart. Are you on with us today, Nicole? Okay, they might not be on with us today. Well, I did have one question. I know that I think it was Maddie stated that nothing has been impacted in your organization from COVID. Everything is, you're able to still do everything as you have been. Are there any of the organizations that are on with us today that are feeling any significant impact from COVID as far as how your day-to-day operations are working, or the impact on your donations that you've received?
Antonia, this is Judy from Heroes to Heroes.
Yes.
Okay. Our major impact has that we have been unable to send veterans to the Holy Land this year. And we have over 600 on our waiting list, and we lost spots for 100 this year. So next year we're looking to double, and make that 200 veterans if possible, and watching the news very closely to see that everything opens up. In the meantime, we've been doing like everyone else, doing Zoom meetings and just keeping tabs on people and trying to, when people are in a crisis situation, trying to have one-on-one visits when possible.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you for that information. I know anything that is an organization where you're doing, like traveling trips like those, that's completely kind of shut down at this point. So yeah, I can appreciate that. Any of their organizations are finding difficulty due to COVID?
The This is the Fisher House in St. Louis, and yes, we've had additional costs, significant costs. In fact, all Fisher houses across the country, to my understanding, have had to reduce the occupancy levels to accommodate social distancing, and actually set it up that just the houses could only accommodate long-term patient care, like families that were in place or staying in town for several weeks to stay with their patient. And the shorter term patients who might be in town just for 3 or 4 days, they're being put up in hotels. So it's really pushing a lot of more expense. The hotel expenses are significantly higher at Fisher houses across the country due to COVID.
Thank you, Laura. Appreciate that information. Well, I'd like to go ahead and open it up for anybody that may have questions. Any federal employees, any of our zone managers, if you have any questions for these organizations that are attending your events, and or if any of the charities have questions for each other.
Wow. You're calling from where?
Oh, I think somebody's maybe
For
on a
what?
phone call.
Marianne. Yes, thank you.
Got it. All right. Well, we definitely thank you all for joining us, for sharing your stories with us, and the good work that you all are doing in our communities across the country. It is greatly appreciated, and we look forward to seeing and hearing from you all here as we go through and finish out the rest of the campaign. Thank you so much. And if anybody has any questions that you'd like to ask here after the call, I'll stay on and answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Antonia.
all.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank
And
you.
Thank you guys
happy,
so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
happy
everyone.
Veterans Day.
Yes,
Yes.
happy Veterans
Happy
Day.
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day. Honor a veteran tomorrow, as you all already do. I'm going to make a point to call the veterans in my life and thank them for their service.
Be healthy and be safe.
Yes,
Yes.
you all as well.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Great presentation, Antonia. It's interesting, folks seem to kind of have it well within that 2 minutes.